Okay, what we're going to start with, instead of putting the dado blade in first, I'm going to cut a starting notch with a regular saw blade, and I'll just set the fence up. Get this out of the way here for a second. What I'll do, bring the fence in, and I'll set this distance in here to be equal to the distance in here, which that's 3.5 inches, because I'm using 1x4s for the shear clamp and chine log. So that's 3/4 by 3.5. So we'll set up a 3.5 inch space in there, and I am using my brass setup bars to set the depth. So that's my 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch. So what you end up doing then, you just crank your saw blade up. And you need to look across the top and make sure the tip of the saw is coming up even with the top of that brass, because the tip of the tooth is what's cutting your depth. Looks like we got to come up a little bit more. That looks like we are right a bit high. Tight against there. Yep, I can feel that tooth is a bit proud on there. So we'll go back down a little bit. Still sitting just a tad bit proud. And right there we are, yeah, just a little bit more. We're right there, so we're at our right saw depth. So now I'll set up the fence and I'll start ripping away. Okay, I already started sliding the rip fence out. What we're going to do now is, for this cut I just did, I have this side along the rip fence. Use the miter gauge. Just took that guy through and ripped the 3/4 inch deep notch in it. Now I have to do the same thing on this side, on the bottom of the angle here. But if I take this and spin it around, it doesn't ride the rip fence very well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep it the same orientation like we had it, except for we're going to bring the fence out this way, and we'll set up our cut on that side and just move the miter gauge over to the opposite side. So I just got to get my measurements on this and get this guy set up. Then I will start notching it. One thing to remember when you're making these notches, and see what I got laying around here to use is here we go. Here's a piece of wood to simulate the shear clamp or the chine log. When you're making these notches, you want to remember that you have to have it set so that this corner over here lines up with this outside corner, because once you put it together you'll then shave the excess that is sticking over like that. You'll just shave it off until it's flush this way. It's the opposite over here. You actually have to have this overhanging a little bit here, so when you put it on, let me get a picture of this, it'll be square. Oh, I can't get it to hold still. There we go. So it'll be square on this corner, Then your overhang will be on this corner, and this will be the side you trim off once you get it assembled to the boat. So I'm going to cut the next notches now. Be back with you in a little bit. Now time to set up the dado blade. Okay, I already took the standard saw blade out, and now we're going to put in the stacked dado. I haven't used this guy in quite a while. I have to see if I remember how to put it all together. Wish I had something I could easily stand this on. Let's lean her up against there and see how all that works for you guys. There's one of the blades. Another blade. And on this side we got the cutter blades that go in the middle. Don't mind that, that was the cord for the saw. It's unplugged so it didn't fall down. So when in doubt, read the instructions. And we have warning, don't cut your finger off in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different languages. That's real helpful. Okay, we have rotational direction on here, so figure out what's the inside and what's the outside cutter. So I'm going to guess they go in this way, because I guess you put the logos on the outside. So this will be the inside cutter. So you see what we're doing here. Put that in as the inside cutter. Then we put a couple of chippers in. And those are offset between all the main teeth. And another chipper blade. Set that one 45. And then we'll take the outside blade and put that guy on. What you end up with is a sandwich. Try to get this blade offset a little bit. I'm going to finish putting this together and I'll get back to you guys, so that way you're not sitting here staring at me trying to do this shit one-handed. Okay, we got all the blades in. Just got to tighten her up a little bit here real quick. Want her tight enough so she doesn't flop around, but you don't have to get ridiculously tight because it tightens itself down as the blades spin. Get my wrenches put away here. There we go. As you can see, we got cutter blade on each side. Then there's chipper blades that come through in the center, like here. And those pull out the wood in the center. Another one there. We got 3 of them in there. So as that spins, it'll just keep hacking out. It'll make a nice cut along the edge and then hog out the stuff in the center. I didn't put everything in there because it gets really tight trying to get all the blades stacked in there on this table saw. And that's a lot of rotating mass to get going there. So we'll get this guy fired up and we'll trim out from the notches we made here all the way out to the edge. I had made my own zero clearance inserts. This one I've used before, the stacked dado, but I'm almost positive that's going to be way too low. We're not going to get up to 3/4 of an inch depth. So what we got to do is we got to fire her up and slowly raise the blade so she opens it up to the height we need. So we'll do that right now. First thing we'll do is get this extension cord. Put that plug back in. I'm going to leave the dust collector off for this one. Put your fence over the edge of the ZCI so that when you're raising your blade it doesn't buck the insert out. So we'll first stand to the side when we fire up and make sure that everything's spinning okay. You hear quite a difference with that guy humming along compared to the regular blade man on the floor. Covered on right there. And we'll get a measurement on how high we're sitting up right now. We'll sit there and stare at the blade while I get the brass setup bars. There's our 1/2 inch, and we are not even up to a 1/2 inch, so we got some more height to get up here. So let's fire her back up and start climbing some more. Okay, so that last pass opened her up just a hair higher than what I needed, which was perfect, because then I could lower it down a smidge, and that way all that noise you heard from it rubbing went away because we got down below got a little bit of an air gap going there. So I'll take you guys and set you up at this end over here so you can watch as cutting's going. First, it's going to test it without the fence over it to make sure it's going to stay in place. Yep, we're good. We need to fire the dust collector back up. This is going to make a whole lot of dust compared to regular cutting. And then we'll start notching her out. guys fell over. See, there's a little bit of a ridge in there, but nothing that you don't really concern about. Stop 1 second so I get myself a reference line on this side so I know where this outer edge is over here. So when I pull it back I can cut the most possible, largest amount each pass. Can't talk today. Helps if I put the pencil of lead in it. One more with you, then I'll turn you guys off and hog the rest of these out. Well, I got about a quarter, closer to half of them done. I got a cramp in my thumb that I've been dealing with for a while because I jammed the shit out of it a couple years ago. So when it starts acting up, instead of fighting through it, I tend to just take a break now. So we'll finish the rest of these up tomorrow and start on the cross frame members. So there's the drawing, there's the piece. More to come tomorrow.